Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And today I'm excited to be moving on to video number 2 in our series where we're going to tap through, tap away, and integrate in the #1 shadow quality of each chakra. Now, I could go on and on about why it's valuable to tap on negative things like shadow. But I did the whole setup in the root chakra video for this series. So if you want to know why it's beneficial to tap on a shadow, how that unblocks a chakra, and you want to know why EFT is so potent, why it works so well as a transformational tool, and you want to find out how, if you've never ever done EFT or tapping, then go back to that root chakra video and watch that, because I will give you the chance to just follow me and repeat after me here, but it will help a lot if you know why you're doing it. So I think it's real key to watch that root chakra video in this series. Additionally, it's going to help you to go look at the 5 main shadow qualities for each chakra. It's another series that I did, and in that series we actually looked at the gift of each chakra, which is another great way to feel better about your shadow and to invite it back home. So watch that series because it's important for you to maybe tap on all of them. I'm not taking the time. I would get blissed out in entranced state anyway if I tried to tap on all 5 qualities, even just on one chakra. I tend to get really blissy and trancy when I do a lot of tapping because it really works for my body and my energy field. So go watch those videos and write down what the 5 qualities are for each chakra. And then I invite you throughout this week, for instance, as we do, I'll start with the sacral, the #1 quality. In this case, we're actually going to combine #1 and #2. But you can also do the 3 other qualities throughout the week yourself, tapping on your own. And that'll just give you more practice in tapping, and tapping is just the most amazing tool. Okay, so let's start with talking about the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is the orange chakra in the bowl of your pelvis. It's chakra #2 as you're moving on up, and it's the opposite of the root. The root is like the home of the first masculine, like the father energy. It's rooted and protective and just solid. Can you feel it's like an oak tree? Roots, right? And it doesn't move. And the exact opposite is true for the sacral. The sacral is the flowing, moving, ever-changing, pulsating energy. And since it's 2, the root is about 1, solitary energy. The sacral is about 2, so it's this pulsating thing. So you have emotions that are up and down and all over the place. You have creativity that's up and down, right? Fertility, intimacy, sensuality, all in touch with all your senses and wanting to share that with one other, because the #2, it's relationship. This is the relationship chakra. So for this reason, we are going to look at overly or too emotional, and that's very closely linked to the quality of too sensitive. So too emotional and too sensitive, I'm going to combine and sort of tap on both of them because they're so similar, they're so related. And then later on throughout the week, you might want to tap on the others. And those are, we have crazy. Oh my gosh, if you're a woman in this life and you've managed to not be called crazy because of your emotional energies, good for you. I cannot say that about myself. So crazy and inappropriate. Another word for inappropriate is leaky, because the very appropriate sign is root chakra that goes by the rules and is aware of the tribe and what everybody else wants. But sacral is real leaky and inappropriate because it's watery. It tends to splash on everyone. And the other quality is slutty. If you don't like the word slutty, you can use promiscuous, but I really highly recommend that you use slutty, because the more emotional negative response you have to a word, the better it is for shadow and for tapping, because we're actually trying to bring up our resistance so that we can look at something and really bring it home in its messiest way. For instance, let's say your child's out in the mud, right? Just totally covered with mud. Well, if you're a really easygoing parent, you're just gonna be whatever, come on, honey. But if you really like don't want your child to get mud on the carpet or whatever, for that moment you're looking at your child with not as loving eyes. You know, you're mad for a minute, like, what'd you do with the carpet? Or whatever, you know, we all have those moments. And if you look at your child just covered with dirt and standing in the middle of the carpet with dirt all over the carpet and everything, and you embrace your child in that moment and you're loving in that moment, right? Just totally like laughing and loving, that becomes totally unconditional, right? There's no condition. You don't have to keep the carpet clean to get my approval or my love. That's just sort of my analogy for it. We want to get the dirtiest words, the most negative words, the things that we really want to resist. We want to get the carpet really dirty and then love ourselves even while we're getting the carpet dirty. I don't know if that analogy helped or not, but I'm going to leave it because I like it. Okay, so let's start working with this idea of too emotional or too sensitive. I'm going to just sort of move between them, but since you're following me, you're just repeating after me, it's fine. You can just follow and we'll go back and forth between these different parts because I really think it'll be good just to interweave them. So to tap, I'm going to literally use usually 2 fingers, maybe 3. Not typically 1, okay? So I'm not going to go over the whole tapping again, but I just wanted to tell you about the fingers. As you're watching me in the areas, try to be very specific, do exactly what I'm doing. Usually I'm on like a bony area rather than a fleshy or empty area, okay? Like when here I'm on the bone, over here I'm on the side bone, up here I'm right in the front of the eyebrow, right at the inner part of I'm on it actually, not in front of it, but I'm at the very beginning of the eyebrow. So if you don't know the points, again, and you want to really be strong on those, go watch the root video on this. Okay, let's do some tapping and welcome home this part of ourselves, the too emotional, too sensitive. Now, one other thing I wanted to say, if you're watching this and you go, but I'm not too sensitive or too emotional, like say when you were younger, you blocked off your emotions, and men, this may be more true for you because our culture tells you to do that. You blocked off your emotions, you blocked off your sensitivity. And you were taught it was wrong, so it's maybe particularly men, but also women, you decided, I'm not emotional, I'm not sensitive. This is interesting because energetically we are all everything. So there's actually the case where if you are saying you are not something, first of all, we are all everything, so it's there in your field anyway. But just the mere fact that you're saying you're not it usually indicates that the shadow is the strongest there. That even though you're not expressing it, and the very reason you aren't expressing it is because it's a part of you you have, but yet you reject. Now, I hope that's not too much to take, but that is one of the signs that shadow's in play. Whenever you hear yourself say, I am not X, okay? So actually the people that know that they're overly emotional and feel shame about it, this will work real well. But the people who know they're overly emotional or overly sensitive and don't feel much shame about it, you will do well to tap through this, but you will probably have the least amount of change. Do you understand why? Because you're not really resisting that part of you. So it's not really a highly shadow type quality. But since other people do tend to judge it, let's all do it. Whether you're the kind of person that says, yes, I'm definitely over emotional and overly sensitive, or you're the kind of person that says, yeah, you could be the kind that says I am that, and I don't care what other people think. Or you could be the kind that says I am that, and it makes me feel ashamed a lot of times when my partner tells me I'm too emotional or whatever. And then you could be the type that doesn't consider yourself emotional or sensitive at all, and in fact you may be the one, probably will be the one that has the most shadow and will most benefit from this tapping. So I just wanted to point that out. Let's do this. We're going to work with the setup statement, I'm too sensitive and overly emotional. Say that to yourself right now. I'm too sensitive and overly emotional. How does that make you feel? We need to rate your reaction to it now so we know what our starting point is. 0 would be that gives you no effect whatsoever. You have no feeling around that statement, that I'm too sensitive and overly emotional. 10 would be that it's the worst thing anyone could ever say to you, and just all your systems are in alarm over it, right? 10 would be the maximum response. Let's do it on this side. 10 would be the maximum response. 0 would be no response at all. None at all. Where are you in that spectrum? Rate yourself. Now, a number probably came up immediately, and that's the number that you need to trust. Really just trust that that part of you that just instantly comes up with stuff knows. Write that number down because that's our beginning point. And now we're going to start. And I'm going to just move through all the different points. Again, if you need a refresher on the points, you're going to want to watch the root chakra video, because now I'm not going to say them, I'm just going to move through them. You want to repeat after me both verbally and also in action in the tapping. Do exactly what I do. Okay? So we're going to start with this. The karate chop point. Again, soft hands, and you can just tap with your fingers on the karate chop point. And I would definitely use at least 3 on that one. I sometimes almost use 4, but I like to do them together. Why not get both of the karate chop points together at once? I really like that. I crisscross them. And I leave my hands soft, so there's no tension in my hands, but it's a firm, rhythmic tapping. Firm, loving, rhythmic tapping. No bruising of yourself, okay? So tap away here at the karate chop points, and we're going to do the setup statement 3 times. Then we're going to work through the tapping points twice, and then we'll take a break and check in and see how we feel. So remember, repeat after me in words and action. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now we're going to tap through the points. I'm too sensitive. I'm too sensitive. I'm way too sensitive. Too emotional. I'm so emotional. Too emotional. I'm overly emotional. I'm too sensitive. My emotions can get the best of me. Remember, you want to repeat after me in both my action and my words. We're going to start out with the setup statement 3 times here with the karate chop point. Soft hands, but firm rhythmic tapping. And you can also do it like this if you prefer. Many people do. I like to do the 2 together. We're going to do the setup statement 3 times. And then work through all the tapping points twice, and then check in with ourselves. Here we go. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I'm too sensitive. I'm too sensitive. I'm way too sensitive. I'm too emotional. I'm overly emotional. I let things get to me too much. I'm overly emotional. I let things get to me too much. I'm too sensitive. I have thin skin. I'm too sensitive. I overreact to things. I'm overly emotional. I let things get to me too much. I'm too sensitive. I'm way too sensitive. I overreact to things. I let things get to me too much. I'm just way too sensitive. I'm overly emotional. Now release your hands in your lap and take a deep breath from your tailbone up to your crown. And then release it and relax, like just letting silt on a pond settle down. Take a deep breath again from the bottom to the top. And then just let it settle down. And now check in with that statement. I'm too sensitive and overly emotional. Maybe you're already feeling a difference. I know I am. Check in with the number that you would rate your response to that statement. I'm too sensitive and overly emotional. And then we're just going to do it one more time through, no matter what your score is. And once I've done it one more time, you can keep doing more. You can always do more, or you can go on to some of the other terms, or you can go on to the other qualities of the sacral chakra, which are crazy, inappropriate, and slutty or promiscuous. Those are the three other shadow qualities. So you can do those throughout the rest of the week, today, whenever you want. I find the more tapping I do, the more trancy I get. So it can be beneficial to keep going, but I also often will just do them later in the week. So I get a whole new trancy, relaxed feeling again. Okay, you ready? Let's actually repeat, since I've been talking in between, let's repeat the setup statement 3 more times, and then we'll go through the tapping. So we're going to do the full thing. You don't necessarily have to repeat the setup again, but I'm going to in this instance. Karate chop points, let's go. And I'm going to mix up just a little bit intuitively what we say this time, so follow along with me. I'm too sensitive and overly emotional. Oh, I'm sorry, okay. So let's do round 2. Follow after me. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm too sensitive and overly emotional, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I'm too sensitive. I can be a drama queen. Man, can I be a drama queen. I'm overly emotional. I make a mountain out of a molehill. I love to overreact. I'm so sensitive. I'm so emotional. I can overreact. Man, can I overreact. I can be so dramatic. I'm too sensitive. I can be a drama queen and overreact to the littlest things. It's actually kind of funny. I'm so sensitive, so emotional. I love to make a mountain out of a molehill. I'm so sensitive and emotional. Now release your hands in your lap and take a deep breath, bottom to top. Exhale and release that all the way down. Relaxing. Again, a big breath, bottom to top. And then release it down. I don't know about you, but I just love tapping. I feel positively giddy about how I'm over emotional and overly sensitive. Check in with your score and see where you're at. I know I'm in a really good place with it. My score has come way down. And just look at the results. That's what I love about tapping. We actually measure it. We measure it because it works. And that's also been why they've been able to do so many studies of it that have shown that it really, really works, even for things as deep as post-traumatic stress disorder. So that's all for the sacral. I'm so glad you've been on this journey with me. I'm proud of you for doing shadow work. It's the spiritual warrior's work. It's not for the faint of heart or for people that don't want to go in the trenches. So thank you for coming along with me, and I'm excited. Next week we're going to look at the solar plexus chakra, and as you know, there's a ton of shadow around the solar plexus chakra, believe me. And there's a lot of it being enacted out in the world today, power plays and narcissism and all that. And the way we work with it is not to fight it, but to embrace it within ourselves, and to not make it wrong, so that we can all come into more consciousness around it. And again, if there's any confusion around that, watch my video, the first one of this series, and see why shadow is good, and also watch the introduction to doing shadow integration for your chakras, which is in the other series of the 5 qualities of your shadow for each chakra. Okay, that's all a big mouthful. I will see you next week when we're going to be tapping on the solar plexus. Until then, I hope you can really enjoy your emotions and sensitive side this week. Much love and many blessings.